How's your team shaping up after the sort of layoff that you've had?
Yeah, obviously it's helped matters with the fact we've got 4 of the lads back training with us on Monday. Obviously added to Big Ross McCrory's signing, comes into the squad as well. So in terms of the numbers swelling again, it gives us more options. Obviously last week preparing for the game with Hamilton, and we were obviously depleted in numbers with that. So with those added 4 available and Ross in, it certainly helps. I think we've still got enough players unavailable to us. Long-term injuries with Sam, Mikey, and Big Ryan. So we're not without our problems. Big Andy Considine suspended, and a couple of lads still unavailable due to circumstances the last couple of weeks. So we've got to try and get ourselves going again and get the season up and running and get back to talking about football. And I think it's been a brilliant week for us. I think we need to applaud the club and having the foresight to go and help me bring Ross to the club. He's been on every list for the last couple of years of young Scottish players that we would like to work with. And you always look at where he is in the pecking order, and some of these younger ones, can they become available or not? And when the opportunity, when we knew we had to, there was no real room for error now. We had to, are we in, are we out, or would we go elsewhere? That I'm glad that we got support from the board. The board can see the long-term planning of signing a young Scottish player as good as Ross. So it's been a great week for me. It's been a real shot in the arm. It's been great to have my boys back that have been not able to come to work, and the general atmosphere is clearly been lifted, and looking forward to what is a very important game and getting our season up and running. I'm quite relaxed at the fact that we're 2 and 3 games behind. We can quickly make those games up. We have to play the same amount of games anyway, and I don't think you ever really look at the table as a manager until that first round of games or 2 rounds of games anyway. But clearly getting your first win of the season is always pivotal for any manager to get that up and running, and we have an opportunity on Thursday, tomorrow, to try and do exactly that.
Does it feel like that? There has been a wee bit of a cloud over the club just with what's happened the last couple of weeks. Does it feel like just with Ross coming in and you're moving past that and getting some of the guys back into training, that's shifted now? Yeah,
well, I'm still going to get asked about the last couple of weeks, and ideally you want to get asked about football questions, and hopefully that can be the narrative now, talking about the football. I think there's been enough comment made, enough criticisms made, enough apologies made, and there comes a time when we have to draw a line. It was our turn, we took it, we've dealt with it, and we move on. No doubt that will still be mentioned. Obviously, we've got these charges hanging over us and the players, and we'll need to deal with that again. But for now, it'd be nice just to focus on the game. Bring a performance we're capable of tomorrow, and hopefully pick up all 3 points against a team who have started the season well enough, and they get a good result on Saturday, and will be a tough nut to crack certainly. And we've got we're hands full with the game now rather than anything else.
Can I just clarify who the 4 players that came back in at the start of the week are? Just to clarify that.
Craig Bryson, Dylan McGeark, Matty Kennedy, and Johnny Hayes, the 4 that have been able to join in full training again. A couple of lads getting treatment, and a couple of lads are obviously doing their own individual work and unable to join in with the squad as yet.
Thanks, Derek.
No problem.
Derek, just in terms of the game tomorrow night.
Yes.
I mean, obviously, you guys haven't played for coming up to 3 weeks now. St Johnstone, have had games. Will certainly be match sharp. I mean, how big a disadvantage do you think you guys could be at going into the game for that reason alone?
Yeah, I think at St Johnstone, I think everybody you'll see, teams will get improved. They'll get that better decision making, sharpness, fitter, stronger through the legs as the games go on. That's normally the case. So obviously, I think we'd rather be a few games in and be where we're going to be in a few weeks' time. But we've only played now 1 competitive game in 6 months. So that it's clear that we're not going to be clearly at our best, but we've still got to be good enough to try and win the game. You know, the players will get stronger as they do every season. They'll get better and stronger the more games you get into their legs. We've had a longer break, as I just said there, than normal, and it's been far from ideal. But you know, it's a game. Boys are busting to play. I wish we could play the day. Just want to get going again, and so the fact that we have a match to look forward to is everything at the minute.
In terms of the four guys that have been able to, you know, return to training and are available for tomorrow night, I mean, how they've obviously been working on their own for a period of time. How confident are you that they're actually ready to hit the ground running tomorrow night? Yeah,
but it's not been ideal preparation. You know, I think that, you know, a couple of the lads had treadmills in their house, were able to do a semblance of work. A couple of lads didn't. So there's an obvious concern there. We've kept our eye on them since they've been back in this week, and you know, we're trying to make those calls. But having all four available, clearly we've got, it's a fine balancing act to say that who's more ready. And sometimes, even at this stage of the season, sometimes it's your fittest team's your best team. It might not necessarily be the team, the obvious team to select. So these added factors come into that. But all four will be involved in the squad. All four are able to play part of the game, if not all of the game. But they'll come into consideration.
And in terms of the other two guys, I mean, have they been able to return to training at all? I mean, we know about the two injury guys, but I guess it's the two guys that got the positive results. Have they been able to train with you guys at all?
No,
or are they...
No, but you know that. No, they can't train with us yet. No, they're not able to train with us just now. So, you know, they're doing their work from afar, but, you know, they are able to come back to work, but they've got to work and go through the protocols, as you're probably aware. So, no, hopefully we can get, you know, those boys back included, and obviously both the lads will start to come into consideration for the Livingston game on Sunday, albeit they won't be able to train hardly at all with the squad.
We've also had the depressing news up here today that the lockdown in the city is continuing for at least another week. Have you had any indication as to whether or not that could have any impact at all on tomorrow night's game or Sunday's game actually going ahead?
No, I haven't heard, you know, and you know, I think your question's relevant in the fact that certainly the game on Sunday maybe, I don't know, I hadn't even considered but obviously the reason given by the JRG last week for the cancellation, I think, was the fact that due to the circumstances in Aberdeen, rather than anything that our club was guilty of. So that was a point that needed to be made, and I think this time around, obviously I think things are improving in the wider area. Figures going down in terms of positive tests, but who knows? I hadn't even considered the game not being on, Tyrone, for Sunday. So now that you've mentioned it, we just need to wait and see. But I certainly think tomorrow night we'll be good to go.
In terms of Ross coming in, obviously that's been very well received, and you know, I would imagine that's given everyone a real lift. Up until Ross coming in, I mean, there was always a feeling that the policy, given the financial parameters you're having to work with, was one in, one out. Now that Ross has come in, are you going to have to let someone go out the other way? No,
we don't. It was one out, or dealing with the longer term injuries. Longer term injuries would be seen as one out in terms of any agreements. So, got 3 longer term injuries: Ryan, Sam, and Mikey. But obviously, we want to try and keep everybody in the building for now at the minute, because we don't know what's ahead of us in terms of injuries and suspension. We've got 4 games we want to try and get through to the next international break. You know, 3 league games and a European game, and I think it'll be then that we'll take a breath and see what the situation with the club is. You know, but clearly we're keen to bring in our striker, and I'm grateful for the fact that we've managed to bring Ross in. As I've said, the priority is short term. Try to bring in a number 9 if we can on a short term deal to January, either as a loan or a short term deal, and you know, that's ongoing, and that has, because the squad is strong. If everybody's fit, you know, it's as strong a squad as we've had in terms of numbers and options and all the rest of it. But you know, the fact of the matter is, we're going into the game tomorrow night without 3 centre halves and 4 centre forwards. So it's far from normal, that, you know. So we are trying to deal with the situation best we can at the minute, and thankfully, you I said the board have that understanding of the current circumstance.
Yeah, has there been any decision made on what will happen with Ryan? Will he go back to Leeds permanently, or is he still going to be staying with
No, but hopefully he'll be back. He's still got a part to play for us, we feel. He's very positive. Ryan, I spoke to him the other day. He's positive that he's normally been a quick healer, and Leeds are positive we can get him back way before the loan is expires. So obviously there's plenty of games in November and December, but and hopefully an important game, cup final as well. So we've got that and that's what we're trying to channel him through his rehab, and he'll probably stay at Leeds for the initial part of his rehab and then come back up to us, and when he's a bit closer to getting back on the grass.
Derek, a quick word on Ross. Obviously, over and above his abilities as a footballer, he seems to be really a good leader, a tenacious player, and pretty quick-witted. I do remember that goal he scored up at Tawdry. For a young guy to be able to do that at the end of the game was mightily impressive.
Well, he is an impressive boy, Chris. For me, he's you feel, I don't know Ross the way I'm going to get to know him, but you think you know somebody. It was similar, I think I said to you, about Lewis Ferguson. You see the way he carries himself, on the pitch. He's very competitive. He makes contact. He's very athletic. He's got good feet. He's got nice midfielder's feet. He can play in a variety of positions. He's 22 years of age. He's going to play for Scotland, and he's going to be a huge player for Aberdeen in the years ahead. So couldn't be more pleased that we've managed to get him. So, but I think you're right. As a person, that is always, you always look at the type of people you're bringing in, and I do think he has got those leadership qualities. He's actually played, I think, over 100 games for two very demanding clubs, and having to deal with that from a young age. He's well on his way to where he would want to be in the games played for a young player, and with that in mind, we think that he'll certainly cope with this move, and he's only going to get better, and we're delighted with that. I'm not getting into that.
Just you listed the number of players that aren't available. Is this a game that Michael Ruth even could be considered for a start up front? Is he in the mix at all?
Yeah, he's in the squad, Mikey, and he's been one of the development boys who's been up training with us since he's come back in early June. So he's been one of the lads that's trained right throughout. So he's definitely the only striker we have really in the building that can play really that role, out and out striker. So of course he's considered and he's in the squad. Yeah.
Derek, how much of an added edge is there to tomorrow's game, or is it just another match for you? Is that the way you approach it?
Yeah, it's a game. There's 3 points available. Like I said, we've got to just deal with what's in front of us now rather than look behind us. And we were bursting to get back playing football for the last few months, and just when we get back, we've had this added delay. But it's a game of football. Two teams, I'm sure, have got a healthy regard for each other. Two teams will see it as a game they can win, and we're looking forward to that task of setting about the game and getting 3 points if we can.
Yeah, how important is it to make the supporters smile again, because they, along with so many others connected to the club, have been suffering a lot?
Yeah, listen, we've took a kick in the last couple of weeks. We want to be talking favourably about our club, as there's been so much good done by the club over the last wee while, and we have over the last 7 years or so that we've been up there being competitive. We've had a lot to smile about. We've always had a competitive team and a good team on the pitch, but we're always striving for more, and it's important that we try and do that for everybody's sake. It's important that we try and have the focus back on the football, and that's clearly my job and the players' jobs to try and do exactly that. That's what we're here for. So hopefully we can get a performance that puts a smile on our faces and we start to feel good about ourselves again.
Yeah, the club has done so much in the way of tackling COVID-19. How unfair is it then that the club is facing SPFL charges? It seems to many to be very unfair.
Like I say, I think there'll probably going to be enough about that over the next couple of weeks, and probably comment more about that, Dave, further down the line. But for now, I'm just happy to be talking about the football again. Last couple of times I've been in front of you guys, football's hardly been mentioned. So it's all about the game tomorrow, and then we'll deal with what's coming further down the line.
Of course, and morale in the squad. It's a great tight-knit group of players. How is morale in the squad? We're
good. We're all right. Nobody needs to worry about us. We're fine that way. That's fine. My players come back in Monday. We put the arm around them. We're there to support each other, and hopefully we can say we can just move on from this now and start concentrating on the football. All right. Thanks, lads. Cheers.